Hi, it's John from Android Addicts again, and today I'm going to be looking at the Android 9.0 Pie and EMUI update for the Huawei P20 Pro. Now, looking at the Huawei website, the EMUI 9.0 update promises quite a lot. So let's just have a quick read at what it says here. EMUI 9.0 was born with a minimalistic natural design to harmonise technology with humanity. This upgrade enables quality life and gives you an immersive experience with nature. The new upgrade provides system speed enhancements, greater AI capabilities, and new ways to improve your everyday life. Now this sounds really exciting. You know, we're going to immerse ourselves with nature and our quality of life will be much improved as soon as we just press the button to upgrade to Android 9 Pie. So let's look at the new features that are touted here by Huawei. So the first one is the performance. Everyday life at full speed. So apparently what we're going to get here is a 25.8% system response speed. This is on average, by the way, and an average decrease of 102 milliseconds for each application startup, and a 12.9% overall system fluency. So that sounds pretty exciting, but what does it actually mean? So the system response speed, I'm guessing that is just overall performance of the system, a quarter as quick again, which is a nice improvement if it is true. The application startup of 102 milliseconds improvement, no one's going to notice that. I mean, that's just too small to, matter. If it was, hundreds of milliseconds larger than that, then we may notice some kind of improvement. And the 12.9% overall system fluency, no idea what they're talking about there, so we will just carry on and see what the next features are. So the gaming, this talks about GPU Turbo 2.0 technology, and we see that apparently the average decrease in touch delays will be 36%, and the maximum decrease in hotspot temperature will be 3.6 degrees Celsius. Now, the only touch delays I've actually ever noticed on this phone, I thought were down to the awful screen protector that I've got on here, which isn't a brilliant one, but it's doing the job currently. So if it was actually a software issue, then that would be good, because sometimes you could tap something and it didn't seem to actually ever do anything. The 3.6 degrees temperature, I haven't noticed the phone ever getting beyond, being able to touch. So again, that's probably just a bit of jargon that they've thrown on there. So next up is the Spotlight Reel. So this is their AI video editor, which can find faces in videos and create a separate highlight for each person in the video. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but we'll certainly try and give that a go at some point. HighVision uses your camera and a bit of AI to actually detect things such as where you are, by landmark, by item that you put in front of it, so food for example. If you pointed at a painting, it should in theory be able to detect what painting it is, and it should also be able to translate text live on the camera as you hold it up at the foreign text. So we're definitely going to give that one a try. The global shopping is called AI e-commerce, so you can scan something and it will take you to a website where you can actually purchase that. Sounds a bit like Bixby to me, and after you've trialed it once, you're probably never going to use it again, so we'll skip over that one quickly. The wireless projecting personal assistant sounds quite interesting. So this is like the Samsung DeX, which allows you to plug your Galaxy into a computer monitor and use your phone as a sort of desktop Android computer. So this is now something that works wirelessly in the latest update. So yeah, I'd like to give that a try as well and see how that is. Huawei Share now allows for wireless printing. I do have a wireless printer which I'm going to give it a try on. I haven't ever managed to get wireless printing to work other than through the app of the Epson printer that I have, so that'll be interesting to see if that works. So next up is Phone Clone, which is allowing you to quickly switch your phone to a new one, transferring your contacts and photos, apps and other bits and pieces without too much effort. This is probably one of the greatest new features that they have, the memo. So there's a new memo application on the phone. I can't wait to give that a try. So since EMUI 8, the design of EMUI 9 has changed a fair amount, where they are starting to put links in certain applications down at the bottom rather than rather than at the top of the screen. So let's take the clock for example. We can see currently to select things we have to, we've got our hand up here, we're having to use two hands to actually do anything. So with the new EMUI, the icons for these different features on most of their inbuilt apps should be down at the bottom. So in theory you can quickly switch between and then just use one hand to do everything else. There's some new gestures to aid in navigation. Now this is mainly for people who don't have a button at the bottom of their phone and they may want to use finger gestures to switch between apps and go backwards and forwards and etc. So a couple of new software features are the Password Vault. This is similar to LastPass and the Google Password Vault system, which is on Android, which allows you to store application passwords and website passwords in a secure fashion. They've also added a backup system to the phone, so you can actually back up the phone to a USB device or to your local area network somewhere. They've added a new screen time management system, which is quite handy. So this will actually show you exactly how long you've been using your phone, what apps you've been using the most, and if you like, you can restrict yourself or another family member so that they can't use the phone too much. This will be handy if you have a child and you want to restrict them from using their phone too much. And last but not least is Take a Break. This new feature allows you to turn the phone screen to a grey colour to try and stop you wanting to use the phone. So maybe it's late at night and you want to just, set it to come on at say 9 o'clock. So every time you look at your phone you think, oh, that's a horrible grey phone, isn't it? And then you'll put your phone down and you won't use it. It's trying to stop you to use your phone basically. Right, first up I'm going to shut down the phone and we're just going to see if we can compare the boot speed between Android Oreo and Android Pie. So I'm just about to shut down the phone and as you can see here, it's asking if I want to keep the alarm active. I'm going to untick that for the time being, just so we know the phone is completely off, because I'm not sure whether keeping the alarm active stores any kind of extra, whether the phone is in a sleep mode rather than actually powered off. Okay, so the phone is now off, you can see. So let's start the timer and see how long this takes to boot up. I'll be measuring it from the actual time that the PIN code request appears. Okay, so I'll take the measurement of that and then we'll compare it to the Android Pie update once it has been installed. Okay, so I'm ready to install the update now. This is the current version numbers and build numbers along with the model number. So we'll install the update and we'll see how it fares afterwards. This is the version that will be installed. So a quick note at the bottom here, it does say this system version can be rolled back to the official version of EMUI 8.1 in the phone manager. Rolling back the system will erase your personal data. For more information, contact the customer service. So if we find out that Pi is actually rubbish, we could go back if we so wanted to. Right, we'll accept the agreement and we shall allow the install to proceed. Okay, so the phone has finally finished installing the Pi update. It didn't take too long. I'm just going to put the pin in and we will, actually before I do that even, I'm going to power off the phone and we will see whether the boot up speed is any quicker. So we've unlocked the phone and we have this service and experience notification. Okay, we're not going to tick the box. We're just going to click finish. We're going to click update manually because we want to update the phone ourselves. Okay, so we shall go into the settings now and just have a quick look. Right, so that is the new build number. EMUI version 9.00. and Android version 9. Very bright Pi. Okay, that's quite funky, isn't it? A bit psychedelic. Right, anyway, enough playing around with the Pi. Let's have a bit of a comparison and look at some of the new features. Right, so what the update has done is changed some of the icons in the notification drawer. You can see very slight differences in the design of the icons. The sound speaker has now gone to a little bell, and eye comfort now has a little bit of a pupil looking at the top there. We see the new wireless projection mode appear here. So one thing I'm quite interested in is whether the sound now has a separate notification setting. Okay, well this is certainly new. We've now got a volume control on the side of the screen rather than along the top. So we go into the settings here. We don't seem to have an option to move it back to the side that I can see, nothing obvious. Okay, one app where I showed you before you had to use two hands to use it. In theory, we can now use just one hand in the clock application. So we can switch to stopwatch, we can start the stopwatch off. Looks like it still has that annoying ticking noise. We can go to the world clock and just about a big stretch there, get to the alarm. So I still think I'm going to be, using my two hands rather than just one hand. Instead of it being up here, however, the icons are now down at the bottom, which looks neater as it has a little icon as well as the function that it provides. There is some sound feedback whilst scrolling through these numbers. And again, we have a ticking noise. I don't know if we can actually turn that off. Doesn't look like it. So you're going to get that ticking noise whenever you use the stopwatch or the timer. Still, they seem to be improved where you can now actually see a little stopwatch and a countdown timer here. Okay, so let's take a look at the new task manager. In the previous version of Android, Oreo, you had the ability to switch between tasks. I had the gesture set up here where you slide the home screen, the home button to the left, and you could move up and down to view your recent tasks. Now in Android Pie, the tasks are actually in a sideways scroll carousel, which I think is actually worse because you get less screen estate or real estate of the apps that you have open. So whereas before you could see it in a list and you could go up and down quite easily just to switch between them, you now have to browse. You could have 10 or 20 apps here, whereas before you could quickly scroll down, you see it, tap it and it would open. You now have to do this motion of left and right rather than just up and down. So I think that's actually, so from this motion to that motion, there's a lot more effort in scrolling in the task manager. Okay, so next up I want to test one of the new features called HighVision. Now this is in the camera app in the top left here. Similar to Bixby Vision, I'm going to guess, but you get an option down here to either look for things for shopping, translate something, scan a QR code, or on the very far right, identify. Let's start with shopping. So say you're going around the shop and you want to check up on the price of something. I've got a few different items here. I'm just going to scan them and we'll see how well the camera does. So the first object is this perfume here. So we get the camera in place. And it has indeed found the item. Now, I'm not sure where the country settings are, but it has brought up something from Singapore. Whether it's sorting it on price perhaps? No, because that's 67, that's 136. So I'm not quite sure on the arrangement here. You don't seem to be able to filter it any further. You just get to obviously click on an item and then it will take you through to the site for you to actually purchase it. So first one, it has succeeded. Just going to try some truffles here and see if it picks those up. It has indeed. So again, it's going to take me to a link on, for this one, for example, Amazon or John Lewis to actually purchase. Next up, we've got some popcorn. So what I'm interested to know is whether...
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Ignore Alexa there. What I'm not sure is whether the application will, apart from the fact it's already scanned it, tell me any details about the calorie content, etc. So we can see it's 85 calories per serving, but if we go back to identify, let's just try and identify and see what it does. So it's coming up here saying potato chips, Lay's. Now, obviously we don't call them potato chips here, we call them crisps. But aside from that, it's completely wrong. And then it's also sent me to a site, a blogspot.com site with some nerds, Wonka nerds on it for some reason. So that is a big fail. We'll give it one more try. No, it's not liking that at all. Let's go back to the shopping one and we'll just confirm it did pick it up correctly, which it did. So let's try another item. Our favourite Mr. Pip-Boy here. Not Mr. Pip-Boy, Mr. Vault-Boy. We will see if it can identify this. Okay, it has actually picked up that it's a Vault-Boy bobblehead. So I'm going to click on here and just see what it actually brings up for us. It's gone to Pinterest and it's asking me to log in, so not very helpful. Okay, we'll try one more item to identify it. This is a pair of wireless headphones. And it has actually come up as headphones stereo and they look wireless. I'm going to click on the link and just see where it takes me. RoyalFlushMagazine.com apparently, which isn't loading very quickly. Okay, so it's picked up as these headphones here. Obviously, I mean, it's not going to be able to detect the brand of the headphones. They are Plantronics. The next test I'm going to do is the translate function. What I've done is actually gotten some English text, translated it to Chinese, and I've pasted it into this document here. So I've done this as a test, and I've also done Hello World, and it's already started translating, as you can see, but I'm going to show you how quickly the translation works. So there we go, that's pretty quick. So that's pretty good. I can find that being useful, obviously when you're in a foreign country and you see a menu or signs that you can't quite understand, and this will just quickly translate it into the language of your choice. Speaking of choices of languages, we've got English, we've got Japanese, Korean, Spanish, French, Russian, Italian, German, Portuguese, and Chinese. So there's a fair selection of all the sort of main languages there, which is great. So yeah, the translate bit definitely works really well. Quite impressed with that. Let's just take a look at the new password vault. Now, where would this be under? Security and privacy, I'm going to guess. Password vault. Okay, let's see. Your own secure vault. Password vault stores your usernames and passwords and autofills them each time you log into an app. This data is only stored on your device and cannot be accessed by Huawei. That's what they say anyway. So we can enable, let's just confirm these settings. And to try an app out, let's go to here. This is the heating control system that I've got. And we'll just see if we log out of here. Okay. Yeah, we know about that. So what it's going to ask us, I believe, if we type in a password, this is obviously not the password for this. Okay, but it hasn't popped up asking to save anything. Ah, here we go. Save username and password. So we're going to click save, and then we're going to go back into the password vault under security. Okay, and we have one account listed. When we click on that, we can edit the password, we could unhide the password and view it, or we can actually just delete it, which is what I'm going to do. So that's the password vault. It seems, I would guess, probably more reliable than LastPass, which if you use, you'll probably find, like me, that it doesn't always pick up and autofill apps like it should do. Okay, I've just done a quick search for the Huawei Backup. So we'll just click next through here. Give it permissions. So we get options here to back up to external storage or to the High Suite, which is a PC application which I don't have installed. So I'm going to click external storage. We've got the options here of USB storage or backup to a shared folder. So if you have a NAS or anything on the network, which I do, let's see if it can pick it up. Okay, so it's found the NAS, the C NAS here. And it's asking for my username and password to connect to it, so I'm just going to type that in. Okay, so I have got the password typed in, and you can see here I've got the list of shares on the NAS. I'm going to just click into the backup share, which is access denied. This is actually the backup folder which the device creates itself. I'm just going to, in that case, put it into the My Share folder. Okay, it has detected how much space is on the share of the NAS, and it's giving us an option here to automatically back up. So automatic backup every other day when the screen is off, the charger is connected and the battery level is above 75%, and the phone is on the same Wi-Fi network as the shared folder. So I'm going to press that to enable. Auto backup needs to obtain and save the username password for C. Enable. Yep. And now we are getting options of what we actually want to back up. So we've got contacts, messaging, call log, notes, recordings, calendar, photos, music, videos, documents, apps, and system settings. It's also estimating the size of the items here. Okay, so we've got 17.15 gigs of photos, 39 gigs of videos, and 9 gigs of apps. So I certainly don't need to back up the apps because they can just easily be re-downloaded. I don't need to back up my videos, music, or photos because these are already backed up to Google Photos. So the only things I think would be useful are those that are selected. So it's even estimating here the required space for backup, which is 1 GB, which is absolutely fine. There's plenty of space available. To save storage space, only the most recent backup will be kept if 2 auto backups are identical. That's fine. Press OK there. Okay, we'll go back to the settings and search for the digital balance. Now this is the thing that I mentioned earlier, which tells you exactly how you're using your phone. So I've spent an average of 7 hours and 55 minutes a day on the phone this week, and if I enable time management, I will be able to change my habits on the phone. So here we can see today's stats: 37 minutes on WhatsApp, 20 minutes on HighVision, and 70 minutes on Chrome. This is obviously just since I've installed the Pi update, so it will be interesting to see exactly how these things change over time. But that gives you an idea of the balance settings there. So if we look at the screen time management, this is my phone. Okay, so we can actually set up some different things here. So the usage hours, set a screen time limit that can only be extended with your approval. So you could say, I only want to use the phone for, I don't know, a maximum of 3 hours a day, Monday to Friday. Rest days, so obviously the weekend, you could maybe set it that you want to use it for, say, 4 hours each day. App limits. This looks like you can set a limit per app basis. So if you turn this on, that's unrestricted usage, so that wouldn't affect your limits. But if you actually set a limit for an individual app, you could say, oh, I just want to spend maybe 5 minutes on YouTube every day. I will just turn that back off in case I forget. It's filtering it or sorting it by the different categories as well here. So social, other, and media. And then the bedtime mode is the grey screen mode, which I will just turn on and we'll see how it looks. So I'll set it to start at 8. Turn on the grey screen. It's popped up a message here saying it's bedtime. The screen will turn off, will turn grey, and will stay that way during the sleeping hours. I'll just tick that to not remind me again. Okay, so now the screen should be grey, which it is. As you can see, there's no colour in it. I'm not sure that would stop me using the phone if I really wanted to, but it's a nice little feature to add in on top of everything else. And here, if you're using this with your child's phone, for example, you can set up a PIN number to approve. Right, we're just going to try out the screen projector function that has been added to Android Pie. So we're going to turn wireless projection on, and it's saying it's searching for wireless devices, and it's found my TV there in the background. I've currently got it in the screen mirror mode. There's just an app on this TV that you can enable. So it can see the TV, it's saying it supports desktop mode and phone mode. So let's connect. We'll disable Bluetooth. Okay, so that has now loaded up the EMUI desktop. Now, as you can see here in the phone, which I'm holding out, stretching my arm, this is the touchpad. So here you get to control the mouse on the screen. If you can see it, it's in the sort of top corner up here. Just move it around. So you press and hold on it like a trackpad on a laptop. Just imagine it's one of those. So if we go into, let's say, the sort of start button down here, we'll just tap it. That's a single tap, just by tapping anywhere on the screen. If you press with 2 fingers and hold down, that is the equivalent of a right click, as you can see there. So I'll just do that again. And again, left click is a single tap. So it seems to function reasonably well. This is mainly for if you want to put up a PowerPoint or some kind of obviously presentation to someone, you can use your phone and you don't have to carry around a laptop, or even, as you can see, a dongle. This is all working wirelessly. Okay, I hope you found all these bits and pieces useful. That's the Android Pie update for the Huawei P20 Pro. Be sure to leave any comments or queries you have down below, and subscribe to my channel for more. That'd be much appreciated. I'm going to sit here for a while and just play with this Android P logo because it's quite fun just doing that, and I will see you again in the next video.